Alrighty, we are back for lesson 13 of the workbook. Hi everybody, glad to have you here. If you don't know me yet, my name is Lange and I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, and I share with you every day my reflection on the lessons while I go through the workbook of A Course in Miracles. And today we are going to talk about lesson 13. The headline of lesson 13 is A Meaningless World Engenders Fear. Now, because English is my second language and I've actually never used the word engenders ever before, for the exercise I changed the word to cause. So a meaningless world causes fear. It worked better for me because the word engenders just didn't mean anything. And yeah, I just thought I better use a word that I actually understand the meaning from. What I love most about lesson 13 is that it talks for the first time directly about the ego. Obviously, we have been working with the ego already for all the previous lessons, but now it actually starts to talk about the ego in the text. And do you remember just a couple of days ago that in lesson 11 that I experienced some sadness going through the exercise and calling the world that I see meaningless? That actually was my ego doing that. Me overlooking the hills on my walk with the dog, which I do every day, made my ego go, well, this beautiful landscape in front of me cannot just be without meaning. But really what it was doing was to instill fear inside of me through the exercise. So fear of me looking at those beautiful hills and not giving it a meaning or not giving it an opinion. So it created fear in letting go of my meaning about the hills. And that kind of scenario of letting go of meaning is apparently a reason for fear and anxiety for the ego, which in this case expressed itself for me as feeling sadness. I love that the text and exercise even goes as far as describing the ego thinking that it's in competition with God. Yeah, quite a bold statement, right? And we're actually not supposed to think about that or really truly understand that. And I think that's a good thing at this early stage in the workbook. So in the main text of the book, it actually says that the ego does not understand God and cannot accept what God truly is. And if that is the case, then it has to, of course, step in and make up some meaning wherever it looks. Wherever it sees meaningless, it has to go and rush to give it any meaning because it doesn't trust in God and doesn't really understand God. It doesn't trust God to have given everything already the right meaning, and therefore it wants to jump in and come first in claiming the right meaning for its own agenda. And that's for us to unravel in these early stages of the workbook, in these first lessons. That's what I believe the lessons are for us to separate ourselves from the ego that we are and have within us, and actually see it more from a distance and see it for what it is and what it's actually doing. I am as well quite curious about the last paragraph, the first sentence where it says, "This is our first attempt at stating an explicit cause and effect relationship of a kind which you are very inexperienced in recognizing." Obviously, I somehow understand what a cause and effect relationship is in general, but not in relation to the course or the workbook. So I'm really curious to find out more about that in the next lessons, to understand what do they mean by cause and effect relationship and why they are as well so important for our development, for our growth, and for our journey through the workbook. So that excited me quite a lot. What excited you? Let me know. What was your biggest takeaway from lesson 13? What was your experience going through the exercise? And yeah, let me know what you thought about my reflections that I had so far about lesson 13. And I will see you again tomorrow in lesson 14. Bye bye.